Show me what you got.
How do you know these things?
You mean I'm right?
Hello, welcome to Steelers Sanctuary. It's Tuesday, and it's Bob Quinn coming at you with another mock draft. I'll be doing this every Tuesday. Once we get a little closer to the actual draft in March, I'll start trying to do these live. Hopefully, we'll have some other people on so we can kind of extend this out a little bit, and maybe we can get some of you guys in the chat to tell us, what you guys want to do. Stuff like that. But without further ado, we're going to use the PFF mock draft simulator. I know, again, I'm playing around with Sportskeeda, but honestly, the only reason I didn't go with Sportskeeda this week is because after I did a couple, I traded about 18 times, and I don't know how much you guys would enjoy that. So we're going to use PFF, and I'm going to see if I can get a little bit more knowledgeable about a couple of the other ones out there. So public versus PFF board settings. We moved it to the D. That's not the default slider if you have PFF. Care for positional value. We moved it to the end of the word value. Draft for needs, basically the same in randomness. So let's get started. And we're entering the draft. We're going to start her up. And looks like we have 6 trades available. So let's just look off the rip. I like Benjamin Morrison. I'm a Notre Dame fan. I do think he's a very good player after kind of watching the national championship game. I don't know. I still like Ravel. I still like Barron. I still like the kid from Ole Miss over him. So I'm not crazy about this where I am. A guy I do like a lot, Kenneth Grant, is still on the board. Might hurt our draft grade a little bit, but let's see what we get with trades here. Minnesota's always a willing trade partner in the simulator. Looks like the Commanders, the Buffalo Bills, the Jaguars. Let's take a look at Buffalo. Buffalo needs some things, and they've got some good picks. So let's see what happens if I say let's go for the 30th and the 56th for the 21st and offer that. Well, it looks like they're not happy about that. So let's try dropping it down to the 62. Oh, looks like we got a better shot here. Let's try that. We got it. All right, trade away. So let's resume the draft. And now we're sitting at number 30. Omarion Hampton is a guy that Dave and Nick Farabaugh talked about a little bit, which if you haven't watched that, by the way, go watch it. It's really good. I'm not sold on taking a running back yet in the first round, even when I'm trading down here. My 2 favorite corners are on the board, and since they're there, I know a lot of people think defensive line by trading down. Maybe I blew a chance at Kenneth Grant, but there's a couple guys I like later on. If Walter Nolan had been on the board there, I would have taken him right there, but with the trade, it's worth exploring. So let's take my favorite, Siobhan Ravel. And now we're down at the 53 pick. Caleb Johnson is interesting. I don't know that I love taking a running back here. Those of you who have watched the first couple editions of this know how much I like Jaden Higgins and Savion Williams. I like Savion a lot, but now with the potential of maybe a Deebo Samuel trade, I still like Jaden Higgins over Deebo Samuel. I just love that kid. I love the way he runs routes. He's a big, strong guy, and I think he's good enough on a go ball. But honestly, the Steelers got to get away from that. They have got to start completing 15, 20-yard in-breaking routes as far as I'm concerned. I love this kid. I'm taking him. Jaden Higgins, pick number 2. And somehow, because we traded down, we still have a shot at Caleb Johnson. I like Caleb Johnson a lot. And now that I've got an extra pick in this round, even though, defensive line, the Darius Alexander kid's pretty good. I love Sebastian Castro, by the way. And I know safety is a low-key need. Travion Henderson and Quinshawn Judkins. I saw a couple of mocks on CBS where Quinshawn got mocked to us early. Oh, boy, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with Caleb for the value here because I do think he'll have a slightly better chance of succeeding. But I don't think you could go wrong with any of those 3 backs. But I'm going to take Caleb because I haven't taken him before, and I'm interested to see what kind of grade we get. All right, so now we're down at pick 85. Trey Harris just was really hoping we could maybe get another wide receiver there. Let's take a look at what's available. Nick Emanwari, nice safety out of South Carolina. South Carolina's defense is really pretty good. And everybody knows the guys I like later on in the draft, Tonka Hemingway, guys like that, which I'm sure he'll be available. Deion Walker's an interesting one because we do need the defensive line help. I know a lot of people like this kid. You see Jalen Milroe starting to fall. Look, if I wanted somebody with tiny hands to play quarterback, I'd ask my youngest daughter to do it. I'm not asking Jalen Milroe. Don't love him here. Mello Dotson. I don't know that we need to take on a third corner here in the draft. I do like Tate Ratledge. We talked about that on the podcast last night, where draft might be a low-key need here. But based on where we are and what's available, let's just take a look at who the wide receivers are available. You know what? I think let's take a look at the trades here too. 85th pick, Jets got the 92nd and the 108th. It is the Jets. Let's just see if they're willing to do something. It doesn't look like they are willing to do something like that. Let's see who else we got here. Oh, we got a bunch of people here. The Raiders. I don't love the Raiders. The Giants. Well, let's see what happens if we do 10. Let's see if we can slide down a little bit and see what happens. We're going to offer the trade. It's accepted. We're going to resume the draft. And he's still sitting here along with Tiny Hands. So at this point in the draft, it's a no-brainer. Defensive line help. Not my ideal number one choice, but getting him here, I think it's a no-brainer. You got to go with him. Torrey Horton just came off the board, was really hoping to pick a second wide receiver. Normally, I would never do this, but and again, this is a team, Iowa State, that you wonder how these guys have so much talent. I know people are seeing Jackson Dart there, and I know somebody mocked him to us in the first round. Stop it. Stop it. If I want Jackson Dart, if you love Jackson Dart, you should really love Justin Fields. So the only way you want Jackson Dart here is if Justin Fields doesn't get re-signed. I'm not crazy about Jackson Dart. I just think he's kind of slightly above average. I see him as a career backup, maybe a low-end starter. So I'm going with the second wide receiver here. You know, I do like Joshua Farmer, though, too. Now, we need receiver help. I'm going Jalen Noel here. I don't love him as much as Torrey Horton, but Torrey Horton wasn't there, so we're not picking him. And magically, because PFF doesn't like any of these quarterbacks either, Riley Leonard, Jackson Dart, Quinn Ewers. So I know I said stop it with Jackson Dart, but hey, pick 133. What the heck? We need somebody to develop. And I like him over Riley Leonard and Quinn Ewers for sure. All right, so jumping down to pick 163, could have had Quinn Ewers, could have had Kyle McCord here, who I do like Kyle McCord this late in the draft, but let's take a look. Thomas Fedone, tight end is kind of a low-key need. I'm not enthusiastic about taking linebackers here. I really don't want to see us take linebackers. Dorian Strong is interesting. Marcus Yarns is a guy. But really kind of slim pickings here. We're really kind of moving down the draft board at pick 163. Do I want the third string tight end, or, what the heck? Let's take a look at another trade here. We definitely ain't trading with the Browns. Eagles all of a sudden are on the board here wanting a trade. Let's see what let's see what happens. It is the Eagles. Howie Roseman is pretty good at what he does. Maybe we can weasel 166 out of him and maybe a fourth round next year. Let's see. Doesn't look like they're too enthusiastic about that. Okay, so maybe the Eagles are out. Let's try this. Let's try the Raiders here. We'll go 180. Next year's fourth. Nah, looks like looks like we get what we get. So looking at this, Jesus, kind of a reach going Kobe King because I don't feel we need him. Let's go for the tight end, Thomas Fidone. Don't love this, but based on the options available to us, I don't want to reach too far for a position of need. So let's see what we get here. Fidone's not a bad player either. It wouldn't be my first choice as a tight end. Quarterbacks are still around. We got wide receivers. We're down here at the end of the draft. I do love Aubrey Burks out of West Virginia. So the fact that he's here is pick 225, 7th round. Yeah, I'm good with that. I think that's a nice player for us to pick up, especially late. We have a needed safety. And then there's my boy, Tonka Hemingway. We're going to get him with the last pick of the draft. I know it's a second defensive lineman. I do like Hemingway. I think he's a steal in the 7th round. I have a feeling after the class, after they run at the combine and do their weights and everything else, I have a feeling he'll start moving up a little bit. But I still don't. He's still a day 3 guy. So let's take a look. We drafted Kalen Robinson, and they wanted us to pick a tackle. If you watch the podcast, you know how we feel about that. We got a B+ for Siobhan Revell. I really think he's the best corner in the draft. I only think he's here because of the injury this year. I don't feel like he's injury prone. He's a big guy. I really like his game. Jaden Higgins getting an A-. He's starting to get a lot of love. I've seen him jumping up into the 1st round. I think if he runs a decent time at the combine, we're going to have to work to get him. I don't see him getting up above like the 4th, 5th receiver in the draft, but if they all run good times, there could be, like last year, all of a sudden 6, 8, 10 guys who go in the first 2 rounds, even though this class doesn't seem comparable. Let's see what happens at the combine. Caleb Johnson, get a B+. I like the kid. I think if he's the 2nd pick in the 2nd round, he's a running back. Again, I don't love picking a running back in the 2nd round, but the value there is just too much to pass up. Deion Walker gets a B+. Let's see. He has the potential. He's kind of a high ceiling, low floor guy. He's either going to be Ziggy Hood or he's going to be, I wouldn't even say the second coming of Cam Hayward, but he could end up being a nice player, especially getting him there in the 4th round. Jalen Noel, I absolutely love. There are guys I like better, but he is twitchy. He's a speed guy. I do like his game. Jackson Dart, okay, fine. We didn't get him in the 1st round. I got him in the 4th. So anybody picking that kid in the 1st round, you're way overreaching for a quarterback. Please, NFL, don't do it, but they will. So, maybe he's the 3rd best quarterback in the class. Maybe not. He's probably top 5. It shows how bad this class is because really after the first 2, and I'm not 100% sold on the first 2, Sanders and Ward, this could be a really interesting class. Thomas Fidone, I got a B-. Like I said, based on the choices available to us, wasn't really a good option at guard, wasn't really a good option in another defensive lineman. Tight end is a position of need. We followed it up with Aubrey Burks in the 7th round. Love Aubrey Burks' game. I feel like, especially as a 3rd safety, he can help on special teams and kind of come in as that 3rd safety guy. And then, of course, PFF doesn't love him, but I do. My man Tonka Hemingway, C+ for that. Our first A- or a grade here, we've been getting B's and B+. So overall, pretty happy with this effort. I'm going to post this on my social media, my Twitter account or X or whatever the heck you call it, whatever Elon feels like. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys next week. Let me know what you think, what you would have done differently. You know why I did what I did. I look forward to talking to you guys on Thursday. Have a great day.
Just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.